Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Nick Cosgrove and I am back with this week's No Filter Q&A. This is the episode where I answer all questions related to diet, training, and supplementation that I've received over the past 7 days from our in-house clients, online clients, as well as a few of our online followers. Remember, if you have any questions with regards to your workouts, your nutritional plan, supplements you're taking, not taking, considering taking, please feel free to email me those questions at nick@foreverfitperformance.com, or you can also DM me your questions on my Instagram at @fitcosgrove_. All right, so let's get started with this week's No Filter Q&A with question number one. Hi, Nick. Is it necessary to send you progress photos each week? I'm going to sign up to work with you in December, but really don't like the way my body is looking right now and would prefer not to send photos. No, it's not necessary to send photos, although photos really do help me make changes to your plan. Here's the problem when you're just looking at the number on the scale and how the person is, a few other things, how they're progressing, like how they're feeling, how they're sleeping, how their appetite is. Like all that is good information to have as a coach, but the photos also tell another story. So I'll give you an example. Last week, I had one of my clients who plateaued at 185. Haven't been able to push him off 185 for the past 2 weeks. But when I look at his photos, I can see that he's actually looking like he's added muscle, yet has lost body fat. So his body composition is changing slowly, but the weight on the scale has not changed at all. So when you have those photos to compare side by side, it can really make a big difference, especially when those photos are even further apart. Like in this case, we're talking 2 weeks apart, but sometimes when I'll take photos from week 1 and I'll compare them with photos from week 8, and I'll be like, wow, yeah, you've only lost 7 pounds in those 8 weeks, but holy shit, look at the muscle that you've added and the fat that you've lost. So I say this all the time. Losing weight is easy. Anyone can lose weight. It's not hard. But losing fat while preserving muscle is a completely different story. So you have to be very strategic with how you diet someone down in order to preserve that muscle and lose strictly body fat. Again, I could put anyone on a weight loss diet and just keep cutting their calories from week to week, give them more cardio, and yeah, you'll lose 2-3 pounds a week, no problem. The problem is you're going to lose a lot of muscle, you're going to lose a lot of water. So how can we make sure we implement a plan that you're going to only lose fat while preserving muscle and staying hydrated, right? And that's where it comes down to, again, working with a knowledgeable coach, an experienced coach who knows how to rotate macronutrients. Because as I mentioned last week on the channel, I'm a firm believer in rotating macronutrients from week to week, or at least every 2 weeks, in order to keep your metabolism burning fat as its primary fuel source. So no, it's not necessary. And I have worked with clients in the past who tell me they feel a little uncomfortable sending me photos, and I never push it. But what I do tell those clients is you should take those photos for yourself then. If you don't want to send me your photos, that's fine. But at least take them for yourself and take them on the same day of each week in the same room so you have the same lighting. Preferably in the same pair of underwear or boxers, or if you're a woman, wear a sports bra and tank top. So at least there's no variables, right? And that way, you yourself, when you do hit that plateau on the scale, because I promise you, you will hit a plateau on the scale. Everyone hits a plateau on the scale at one point. When you hit that plateau, you can look back at those photos and you can go, wow, yeah, I haven't lost a pound in 3 weeks, but look at the changes I've gone from week to week. So if you're not going to send me the photos, I recommend at least keeping them for yourself. All right, next question. Hi, Nick. I have a question about olive oil. It's really high in calories, yet notice you use it a lot on your diet plans. Should I still use it if my goal is to lose weight? Absolutely. So olive oil, just to be clear, I don't just throw olive oil on a plan. I usually use extra virgin olive oil or macadamia nut oil. I like coconut oil as well, MCT oil. Those are all great oils. And yes, if you look at it from a caloric perspective, 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, I think it's like 118 calories. Don't quote me on that. It's about 118 calories. So yeah, it's quite calorically dense for 1 tablespoon, but you have to remember that fats are going to keep you feeling fuller for a longer period of time. So if you add 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil onto your, say, chicken and rice, that's going to allow you to actually feel fuller for a longer period of time, because fats take longer for the body to break down and digest. So what I'll do on someone's plan, if I'm trying to get them to lose weight, I might give them, let's use that chicken and rice meal, for example. I might say, okay, this week, I want you to have 1/3 of a cup of brown rice with 6 ounces of chicken and throw on a tablespoon of olive oil. third of a cup of rice is not very much, but we're decreasing the carbohydrates and we're adding fats to the meal. So those fats are going to keep you feeling for a longer period, fuller for a longer period of time. Whereas if I just give someone more carbohydrates, that's most likely going to spike blood sugar levels, fluctuate your insulin resistance levels, and it's going to make you feel more hungry later on in the day. So that's why a lot of times when people have too many carbs in their diet, they're constantly hungry, right? Because their blood sugar is dropping and it's increasing, especially if you're having simple carbs. So I like to throw in a lot of good healthy fats, such as olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, just for that reason, to help actually stabilize blood sugar levels and allow you to feel fuller for a longer period of time. So don't look at everything from a caloric perspective. And I've mentioned this before, I don't even count calories when I do nutritional plans. I never have. Now with my new coaching app, the calories just come up naturally because we have that implemented into the system now, but I still don't even look at the calories. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, that person's having 5,000 calories today. I don't care. I look at the macronutrients. And again, I don't just look at the macronutrients. I also look at the micronutrients, which is the quality of the macronutrients. But calories to me are irrelevant. If I'm trying to help someone lose fat and build muscle, calories are completely irrelevant to me. All right, next question. Nick, what's your opinion on personal development courses? I think personal development courses are great if they help teach people how to be more empathetic and less selfish, just overall a better human being. I'm seeing this so much on social media now. I'm seeing this kind of self-evolved mindset of it's all about me. I mean, look at my selfies, look how good my life is, look at my cars, look at my house. And I'm just like, fuck. When was the last time you donated to a charity, or when was the last time you volunteered to do something helpful? You have to remember, ROI is not always about money. Your return on investment is not always money. So if you're going to a personal development course, it might have nothing to do with money whatsoever. It might just be like just becoming a better person. You know, I'm not saying I'm the greatest person, but at the same time, I mean, have some human decency and be empathetic towards others. I can't tell you how sick I am seeing people on social media showing this glamorous lifestyle. Yeah, have that lifestyle. There's nothing wrong with that, especially if you make good money. Yeah, enjoy it. But you don't have to rub it in people's faces. You know, you don't have to make others feel bad about themselves. And I think there's a lot of passive aggressive behavior that I see on social media. And I also see it in person sometimes with certain people, you know, flashing their clothes, flashing their designer brands, flashing their purses, their Chanel purses and stuff. And, you know, to me, it just reeks of insecurities. It really does. So I don't have anything against those type of courses. I think, you know, if you feel like those courses can help guide you and steer you in the right direction, definitely use them for sure. I'm sure we could all use a few of those self-help courses, myself included. But I feel that if someone is getting a good ROI on a course that they're taking, and I don't just mean, you know, value as in it's going to increase your income to 7-figure, 8-figure, whatever. It's more about just, is that going to make you a better person overall, right? Decent person. Volunteer, as I said, you know, donate to charities every so often when you can. You know, even if you can't donate a lot, donate what you can. You know, we've all got a little bit of spare money every now and then. So if you can, help someone out, of course. But yeah, I'm for them. I think if they make you a better person, absolutely. Take a few courses. I should probably take some myself. Okay. Hey, Nick, was it difficult launching your own app? I'm thinking about doing it myself for my coaching services, but not sure as to where to get started. It was so fucking difficult. And it's still difficult. There's still bugs to work out. It was a long process. We've been working on this app for the past about 3-4 months, and we're still working on it. So it's not finished yet, but it has been launched on the App Store now. And it's easy to sign up for. You download the app, you send me your email address, and I'll give you, I'll log you right in. I'll give you a password, and then you can create your own password to come in anytime you like. And you'll have access to training videos, my training programs, nutritional plans, and of course, I work with you as a coach if you book my services to work with me in a one-on-one, where I customize your nutritional plan and your training program for you. But yeah, it was difficult. I mean, I definitely didn't do it myself. I provided the content, but I worked with a great team, and every time I wanted to add something into my services, I would explain it to them, because these people are not really the people that did my app. they're not in the fitness industry. So I had to explain to them what I look for, you know, when I coach somebody. So I had to talk about progress photos. I had to talk about my weekly check-ins, you know, and I had to really make it user-friendly for my clients as well. So I work with a lot of people who don't live here in Vancouver, British Columbia. So when I give them a training program, a lot of times they have to go to YouTube to figure out what exercise I'm talking about. Now, thanks to my online coaching app, they can just click on the exercise and there's a video of me doing the exercise. So there's no confusion. Same thing with the nutritional plans. Now I can actually provide what I feel to be a more effective service, because when when I rotate macronutrients, now my clients can see exactly what I'm doing. It's very transparent. Before I would just rotate the macronutrients and most people wouldn't ask me why, but now they can see, oh, okay, so he's decreasing my fats to this amount this week, and he's increasing my carbohydrates to this amount, and he's rotating my protein throughout these meals. So it's just a lot of people like to see that, you know, especially when they're doing a diet, because they like to have an idea as to what I'm doing. Some people don't care at all, but it's just nice to have that. So yeah, it was a lot of work, but it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. It's made my online coaching much easier to do now, because I spend less time with these spreadsheets that I used to do. This is how long I've been doing online coaching. I no longer use spreadsheets. And so it makes it much more convenient for me just to take one thing out, put something in, take out an exercise, substitute for another exercise. And I can usually bang out one weekly check-in within 10 minutes. Whereas back in the day, it would take me sometimes anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes to do one weekly check-in. And right now I'm working with 72 people online. So you can imagine how long that would take spread out through 2 days, because I usually do 2 weekly check-in days and 3 bi-weekly check-in days. So it is a lot of work. If you're going to do it, I recommend working with a very experienced and reputable team. The guys that I worked with, they were great. I actually had to wait to work with them though. I had to wait a few months when I first booked with them because they were so busy, but you know what? They were fantastic. And even now we're still adding things to the app. I have clients that say, you know, it'd be cool if you add this to the app. I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea. So I'll message it to my app guys and they'll add it on. So it's great. So it's an app that's still growing. It's still in its infant stages, but we're making it work, and everyone that's used it so far loves it. A lot of my clients who were working with me online previously have now fully come over to the online app, and they all love it. They say, wow, this is so much easier to use. It's mobile friendly, so it's much more convenient. So it's worth it. It's a lot of work though, a lot of stress. The hardest part was probably getting it on the App Store, because there's a few hoops you have to jump through with Apple, but once it's up, it's up. So, but again, still a few bugs to work out. So give us a few more months and I'm sure everything will be running smoothly. But for now, it's up, it's operating, and everything's there, easy to use. Okay. Nick, what do you think about the all beef diet? I'm thinking of trying it. I don't like any of these diets that focus on one particular food group, or they're not getting a variety of nutrients from other food groups, or in this case, you're relying on pretty much 2 macronutrients, which in the case of beef would be protein and fat. So there's no carbohydrates. I don't like keto diets. I never have. I use them sparingly. What I've mentioned this before, when I do use a keto, it's usually as a last resort to get someone down because they're behind schedule. If I need someone to get ready for like a photo shoot or their wedding, bodybuilding or fitness competition, I might have to use keto towards those last 2 or 3 weeks, but it's not an option I like to use. So in a case of an all beef diet, no, I don't like that. I don't like it because, again, you're eliminating carbohydrates. I don't like it because you're limiting essential nutrients from other food groups. And I don't know if you're also including vegetables on this diet, because you said all beef. But let's say there's no vegetables on this diet. So now you're lacking all these essential vitamins, minerals, and nutrients from vegetables that you get. So yeah, I don't like diets like that. Do they work? Sure. I mean, yeah, you'll probably lose weight. I mean, people lost weight on the Atkins diet, and that's full of bacon and butter. Not healthy for you, though. Like, again, any diet, well, I shouldn't say any diet, most diets will work to a degree. But you have to think long-term. Are you going to stay on the all beef diet for the rest of your life? Probably not. I imagine it's not recommended to stay on a diet like that anyway for all your life. But let's say your reason for going on that diet is to lose weight. So you go on it for 30 days, and let's say you lose 15 pounds. Okay, you lost 2 pounds a week. Once you come off that diet, what's going to happen? Well, one thing, with eliminating carbohydrates for 30 days, your body's become so sensitive to carbohydrates. So once you start taking them in, you're going to absorb them like a sponge. You're going to hold water. You're going to put on weight. You're most likely going to screw up your thyroid, slow down your metabolism. So I don't recommend just taking out macronutrients for the hell of it. So if you want my opinion on a diet like that, not knowing much about that diet, that's a new one for me. I'll have to look into that more, but I don't like it. I don't like any of these diets that eliminate any macronutrients or take out nutrients from other food groups. So I wouldn't do it. Hi, Nick. No matter what I do, I can't seem to lose any more weight. I was consistently losing 2 to 3 pounds a week from the past month and a half, but for the last 2 weeks, I'm stuck at 214 pounds. I increased cardio and lowered my calories, but nothing seems to be working. Any help would be appreciated. It's difficult for me to give you a suggestion because I don't know exactly what you're doing. I don't know how much cardio you're doing. I don't know how low your calories are. So I'd have to really look at your overall nutritional plan and your training program to make a educated suggestion or a guess as to what you should do next. With that said, though, what I will say is when you do hit a plateau, with your weight and you're saying, okay, well, what's next? Do I either increase the cardio? Do I decrease the calories? Sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes your body, especially if you've been going really hard for 6 weeks and you've been training hard and you've been doing tons of cardio, sometimes all you need to do is the complete opposite of what you've been doing. So if you say, well, let's say you're doing 45 minutes of cardio a day. I've had this happen with clients before. They're doing lots of cardio. All of a sudden I'll say, you know what, let's take that 45 minutes down to 20 minutes. And they'll look at me and go, are you nuts? I'm not losing weight. Now you're telling me to take the cardio down. I'm like, yeah, and I also want you to increase your carbs by 50 carbs a day. And at that point, they'll question me. They'll say, I get emails all the time when this happens. I'm like, are you sure? Did you read my check-in? I'm not losing weight, and you want me to increase my calories and decrease my cardio? And I'll say, yeah. And I'll tell you what, 9 times out of 10, it works. And it's because we're taking the body that's constantly stressed from all that training. Your adrenal glands are fried. You're tired. And all of a sudden we're saying, no, you know what? We're just going to give the body a bit of a break. We're going to shut things down for a bit, not completely. We're still going to do our cardio. We're still going to go to the gym. We're still going to eat clean, but we're just going to make these little tweaks in your plan for the next, 2-3 weeks. I'll tell you what, 9 times out of 10, it does work. Once the body's just relaxed, people start sleeping better. They're calm. They're either giving their body a little bit more fuel. Their workouts in the gym get better. Their training goes up. Their strength goes up. So sometimes all you have to do is actually do the complete opposite of what you think you should do. And I'm not saying go shit the bed on your diet and start, eating pizza and fries and cake. I'm stick to your diet. Increase your calories with clean food, right? Decrease your cardio on the treadmill or the elliptical or the stationary bike, but increase your intensity in the weight room, right? So you look at it like that. If I'm saying to someone, okay, I want your cardio to go from 45 minutes down to 20 minutes, hey, that gives you an extra maybe 10 sets that you can do in the gym with weights. Maybe add 2 more exercises to your back routine or your shoulder routine, whatever workout you're doing that day. Mix it up, okay? And that's so important, guys. You can't just keep doing the same shit day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, and expect to get incredible results. You have to keep switching things up. And I'm not saying switch things up on a daily basis, but I'm saying if you're doing the same thing for 6 months straight, you're doing it too long. Your body's going to become accustomed to it, right? And doing the same thing over and over again, expecting to achieve different results, well, you know what that's the definition of? Sanity, right? So try something different, okay? I know it seems odd to what I'm telling you to do, but I'm telling you it works. And like as I said, it works 9 out of 10 times, and try that for, I would say, 2 or 3 weeks. Take your cardio down, increase your calories for a bit and see what happens. You'll probably be surprised by the results you get. Okay. Next question. Nick, have you watched the Killer Sally Netflix docuseries? I get a lot of questions on this one. Do you think Sally McNeil killed her husband due to her abusing steroids? She said that he was violent and would hit her when he would be on certain steroids as well. I had a lot of questions on this Killer Sally docuseries on Netflix, so I have watched it now. I had a few questions last weekend and I hadn't watched it, so I said, well, I better do my research and watch it. So I remember when this happened, and I think it was back in 93 or 94. Can't remember the exact year. But first off, do I think steroids were the reason that she killed her husband? No. Certain steroids, certain compounds can make you a little bit more aggressive. Yes. I personally do not believe in roid rage. Here's my theory with steroids, and I said this before. If you're an asshole to begin with, steroids is only going to make you a bigger asshole. It's like alcohol. You know, some people when they drink, they're funny, they're chill, they're fun to be around. And then there's other people when they drink and they're assholes, right? They're mean. There's mean drunks, right? They get violent. You don't want to be around those people. So I don't think steroids make people, you know, aggressive to the point where they're going to kill somebody. But if you're already a little bit loose up there and you're already an aggressive person, I think it's definitely going to enhance those moods that you have, the aggressiveness that you have towards others. Yes. Now, from that relationship, it seemed like it was a little bit of a strange relationship to begin with. It seemed like there was some infidelity going on there, and maybe she just had enough. She was an abused woman for sure. And I did notice, and I agree with this. If this happened in today's era, I don't think she would have done any jail time. And if she did do some jail time, I think she would have done maybe 2 to 3 years. I mean, she was in an abusive relationship. And I believe they've done studies on people who are, you know, constantly abused, and they have PTSD from that, and they're not thinking clearly. And in her mind, you know, killing someone like that, that's her abuser, right? And maybe she just had enough and just snapped. But I think in today's era, if this happened now, especially if what we know now, I don't think she would have done any jail time. And I also think one of the reasons that she ended up doing jail time is because she got up on the stand, which you should never do, especially if you're being tried for murder. So that's a terrible idea. You know, and even her lawyer advised her not to do that. So yeah, I don't think that was a very smart idea. I don't think she was the most intelligent woman. I don't think either of them were intelligent. And I know that whole scene with the bodybuilding scene, people, they get wrapped into it. There's some weird stuff with the muscle worship and her wrestling men. But again, that's this weird shit that's been going on in this industry for years. So I don't think that's a completely separate from her murdering her husband. I think it was just constantly getting abused, constantly get beat up from the story she's told, and, you know, being put down and him cheating. And yeah, she snapped and it happened. But yeah, I don't think steroids were the main factor. They could have been one of the factors as to why he was so aggressive towards her. Sure, he's dieting for a show. They mentioned that she mentioned that he was, would he ever get ready for a show? He was under a lot of stress. He was dieting hard. I mean, I've dieted for shows, but I've never wanted to hurt or hit the person that I've been with. I mean, I've been in relationships when I got ready for shows. I might get a little bit moody, but I would never think about hitting the person I'm with, right? That's not the type of person I am. And that's not the type of person that most guys are. They're not going to go hit their girlfriend or their wife just because they're dieting for a show. So yeah, I don't think steroids were the reason. I just think they were both a little cuckoo. Okay. Hi, Nick. What's your opinion on assisted chin-ups with a band? I can barely do one chin-up, but can easily do 15 when I use a band attached to my feet. I think assisted chin-ups are great for beginners. The fact that you say you can easily do 15 reps with the band, that tells me you probably shouldn't even be doing them. Or if you are doing them, maybe you can add some resistance by attaching a dumbbell to your feet or ankle weights to your ankles, or doing static contractions on the up phase. So if you do a pull-up, hold that for a 3-count hold and then release. So this shouldn't be easy. Assisted chin-ups, I don't do them very often with clients. I actually don't even do chin-ups with clients. But every so often, if I'm working with a beginner, I might throw them in. But I much prefer doing pull-down movements for the lats. So wide grip lat pull-downs, closed grip lat pull-downs, reverse grip pull-downs, isotonic cable pull-downs where you're using 2 separate cables to pull down. You know, those are 4 movements there. And I find those work great for the lats. The reason I'm not really a big fan of doing chin-ups and assisted chin-ups, I find they put a lot of emphasis on the biceps. So when I watch people doing chin-ups, they're using more biceps and more momentum than actually engaging their lats. So rarely do I use them with people. I know there's a lot of people that say you have to do chin-ups to get a nice wide back, and I disagree with that. I think that's old school mentality. I think there's other ways to develop a back. I never had the best back, but when I was competing, what I did to help improve my back was I incorporated 2 separate back days. One was a row day and one was a pull day. And that really helped add size to my back right there. That worked for me. But I'm not saying chin-ups are bad. It's like deadlifts. It's something I don't incorporate very often in a plan. I think there's other ways to help your back grow and bring out that definition and that hard, dense muscle. But assisted chin-ups, they have their place, and I will use them. Like I said, I will use them with beginners if I'm trying to teach them how to engage certain muscle groups. But I'll usually stick to pull down movements because I find them to be A, more effective, and B, more safe. Because you get a lot of people who do chin-ups and they're using that momentum, and all of a sudden they hurt their shoulder, or they pull, or sometimes they'll actually pull, but usually it's a strained bicep tendon. Rarely would it be a tear, but unless you're really pulling hard on the chin up, but usually a strain in the bicep tendon or the forearm extensor. So that's usually an exercise that I don't use very often. I don't think they're bad though. I mean, if you like doing them, do them. But the fact that you say you can easily do 15 reps, that to me seems like a waste of time. Nothing should be easy in the gym. So find a way to make it harder, or don't do them at all and switch over to the pull down movements and increase the weight. That's what I would do. Okay. Nick, do you make your clients do a lot of cardio during their workouts? My new trainer has me doing 10 2-minute interval sprints on the treadmill, 45 seconds of battle rope, 6 times each workout, and tons of burpees and footwork on the agility ladder. We do this every workout 3 times a week. I do cardio with my clients if they ask me to incorporate cardio into their workouts. So whenever I work with a new client, I always say, okay, what's your goal? And then, they say, well, I want to add muscle. I want to lose fat. I'd like to lose 20 pounds in the next 3 months. I go, okay, well, that's a realistic goal. Okay. So let's work with that. Now, how are we going to get there? Are you going to do cardio on your own? Or are we going to have to incorporate more cardio into your workouts? Some of my clients will say, oh, no, Nick, I'm fine with doing maybe 30 minutes of cardio a day on my own on the treadmill. I'll come in before the workout, or I can do this at my home gym. I want to do the weights with you. Great. I don't need to do any cardio with those clients. Then I'll have other clients that say, well, no, realistically, I'm not going to be going to the gym on my own. I have a home gym, but I know I'm not going to use it. You're keeping me accountable. So I need to get the best workout I can where I'm doing cardio and weights with you. I'll say, great. So what I'll typically do with clients like that, and that's actually the majority of my clients. The majority of my clients usually just work with me. The ones that work with me in person, not online, work with me, and they don't go to the gym on their own, right? So what I do with those clients is I incorporate cardio into their resistance training workouts. And how I do that is I do circuit training, right? Again, we have the luxury of training clients out of a private training facility, so they can actually circuit train. So if we're doing a chest and back workout, station 1, incline dumbbell chest press, station 2, wide grip lat pull down, station 3, flat barbell press, station 4, seated row. There's 4 stations with no rest in between. And then after each round, I give those clients usually about anywhere from 60 and 90-second rest, and then we go again. I don't time their breaks, but I always tell people, when you feel you're about 70% recovered, I want you to jump back into that circuit again. And then we'll go 3 or 4 more times, depending on the amount of sets and the volume we're using on that particular workout. So that way, I feel that my clients are getting the best of both worlds. They're working their muscular system with the resistance training component, and they're working their cardiovascular system with the constant circuit training. So they're moving, right? As opposed to a basic straight set where you're doing set, rest. Nothing wrong with a basic straight set, but if your goal is to try to lose fat and build muscle, if you're doing basic straight set training, you might want to incorporate some additional cardiovascular training on top of that by doing, like I said, 20, 30 minutes on the treadmill, speed walking up outside, just something for your cardiovascular health. So to answer that question, no, I don't put clients on a treadmill. That's not my style. I've never put a client on a treadmill for anything. I think that's a complete waste of a client's money by trainers putting them on the treadmill and then standing there watching them while they do their cardio. I like the agility ladder every once in a while. I might throw that in if I'm doing like a full-on, like full body cardio circuit where I want to, add in a little bit more like agility work. I'll use the Bosu bow. I don't really do burpees with people. I personally don't like burpees, so I don't make my clients do burpees. I think burpees are stupid, so I don't do them. Basically, I don't give my clients anything that I wouldn't do. I don't give my clients. Okay, that includes when you put a band on a client and you have them run around the gym, like you're walking the person on a leash like a dog. I don't do that either. Because if someone did that to me, I'd be like, fuck you, I'm not doing that. So yeah, I mean, there's different ways to do cardio, and cardio does not necessarily mean that you have to be on a treadmill, right? Battle ropes are great. I don't really use battle ropes myself. I have nothing against them, but I don't use them with my clients. I'm a huge advocate of using weights. I like using weights. I find that the more muscle you can build, the easier it is to lose fat in a rested state. So that's my theory. And if people work with me, they learn that pretty quickly. And I don't really migrate too much off that philosophy because I find it works. And I've been doing this for 20 years. So I've seen results of people. That's not to say the other stuff doesn't work, but it's just not my type of style of training, so I wouldn't feel comfortable training people like that. I'm a creature of habit. I like training people the way that I've been training for 20 years because I know it creates results. And I know it's safe and it's an effective way to train. So I stick with what works. All right, last question. Nick, do you have any comments on the recent surge of trainers and fitness competitors starting their own OnlyFans account? Hey, I mean, we're headed to a recession, right? So if you got to make money somehow, I guess that's one way. Listen, I talked about OnlyFans a few weeks ago, and I really don't know much about OnlyFans. I know there's a lot of people in the fitness industry now jumping onto OnlyFans. I think it's hilarious when people get mad that they're on OnlyFans and they get mad that people want to see them naked or doing certain things, certain dirty videos. And like, well, OnlyFans, I'm sorry, but that's the stigma. If you're on OnlyFans, people expect you to either get naked or send them dirty videos, right? Jesus, I even know this, and I'm not on OnlyFans. But I find it's quite interesting because one of my clients recently told me about another online, I don't know what you want to call it, sexual service called Jerkmate. And I just learned what Jerkmate was this week. One of my clients said, have you heard of Jerkmate? I'm like, no, I kind of get an idea what it is, but explain to me. So he's basically telling me that there's women and men who go on this this Jerkmate website, and it's like a webcam, and they perform certain acts and people pay them for those acts. And, there's some people, one of my clients told me there's a few women out here who are charging $28 a minute. I'm like, holy shit, they're making really good money. $28 a minute to get naked and pretty much masturbate for somebody. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to judge either way, but these people aren't doing this. They're obviously, they're providing a service, I guess, for some people. I mean, some people are into that, I guess. They don't like the real thing, but I much prefer the real thing. I don't want to sit there and watch somebody on my phone. But anyway, the whole OnlyFans and the Jerkmate thing, it seems to be a big thing now in the fitness industry, because I was surprised to learn that there's actually quite a few people in the fitness industry that have jumped ship over to those sites. Again, I mean, I guess it's another way to make money. I'm not going to shame people who do that. It's their body, it's their prerogative. They can do what they want. It's not something that I would feel comfortable doing. Maybe I'm a little bit too conservative, but also I just feel if the type of clientele I have, I think that would just almost in a way devalue myself as a trainer and coach. So, I want to provide a reputable service, professional service, and conduct myself in a professional manner. So I feel like if I were to have my own OnlyFans site or my own Jerkmate site, I just feel like I would lose that sense of professionalism. Now, again, that's my opinion for me. I'm not saying that for all the trainers. That's just my own opinion. If the other trainers are on there and they're killing it with their clients, and their clients don't care that they're on these channels getting naked, stripping, and great, do it. That's all the power to them. I'm all for it. But if you have your own OnlyFans account, I mean, don't get mad. I know there was a female trainer who I knew who was actually getting mad at people because like, stop asking me to get naked on my OnlyFans. I'm like, well, then don't have an OnlyFans account, because most people are going on there. And I can tell you right now, guys anyway, especially guys, they're subscribing to your OnlyFans because they want to see you naked, not because they want to see your training tips. They can go on YouTube for that, right? Or they can go on my coaching app for that. See me train. It's free. Anyway, all right, guys, that's it for this week's No Filter Q&A. This episode will be going up on Friday afternoon. As a reminder, if you do have any questions pertaining to your workouts, your diet, supplements you're taking, not taking, considering taking, please feel free to email me those questions at nick@foreverfitperformance.com, or you can also DM me your questions at fitcosgrove_. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate the support. Like and share, and I will see you all next week. Bye for now, guys.